Let's talk a little bit about marketing careers. And there is this massive fear going on across all industries, across all disciplines, that AI is replacing jobs. I have a philosophy that leaders do not need to worry if they are great leaders and they are in the weeds on AI. But there is a truth to it that jobs are going to be replaced and are being replaced by AI. And we're seeing it on the creative side of the house. I think agencies are going to have a tremendous amount of challenge because I think buying is going to be done by agents in the near future. I think leaders are going to have a really interesting opportunity as well as a really unnerving job, which is managing a team of humans and managing a team of agents. But talk to me about when you're having conversations with CMOs, with marketing leaders, with CEOs around AI and its impact on the organization, what the expectations are that you're seeing, and then just your point of view on this narrative of AI is going to take over everyone's job.
First and foremost, those fears should exist. AI is transforming the workforce. It is on the cusp of upending the labor market. We're already seeing signs of that, and with early career unemployment is up to 13%. It literally is just the beginning. I was talking to a company today, they do workforce mapping of every role in Fortune 1000 companies, and they've been tracking what roles will be changed or impacted by AI at what percentage level. And it's pretty serious. So the change is coming. There's an article from the Wall Street Journal, September 26th, so
Yep.
barely less than a month ago, where the CEO of Walmart, Doug, talks about how every single role in Walmart is changing with AI. And they're mapping all their roles to see what roles will be replaced, what roles need to change, and what roles need to be augmented with certain new skills for those employees.
Yep.
They're the
That and doing that
largest
work.
private employer in the country, and they're thinking along these lines. So the change is real, it's coming, it's affecting every function. So, what does that mean? A few things. Firstly, regardless of where you're in your career, you want to be AI fluent. And that's a no brainer, that's obvious. It's important for us to reimagine how we think about ourselves. What's the expertise we bring to the table? What is our own identity? How do we want to see ourselves in the world? How do we want to contribute to the world? What skills do we uniquely bring that can make a difference in an organization or in an entrepreneurial venture? People need to start thinking along those lines much, much earlier. And I say that because the basic tasks, the basic activities that entry level folks would do are already better done, whether we like it or not, by AI.
Yeah.
When it comes to the more senior roles, it allows you to be a specialist and a generalist at once. I never saw myself as a filmmaker. I never thought I could illustrate or design. I've always been into words. All of a sudden, I can do all of those things. I would suggest that if there's any senior marketer who says, oh, AI is just going to complement what we do and it's going to put us on steroids and make us stronger and better, and not be clear about the job ramifications or the org design
Yeah.
changes that come with it or the risk to the workforce, they're not being fair to their teams and their employees. They're being bad leaders.
I have these conversations with marketers all the time looking to me for some wisdom. My advice that I always say to them is you've got to play with these tools yourself.
I'm seeing more and more marketers comfortable playing with the tools, and that's great. That's super
Yep.
important. But what's the real change is when your workflows need to transform, where all of a sudden your marketing team of 100 or 200 people is 1,000 or 10,000 people because you have all these AI agents that can take on certain tasks and activities. When you allow space for them, the way work gets done changes. Your core marketing or brand building strategy changes. The way you think about agency changes. The way you think about your technology partnerships changes.
The leadership skills, even, it's not just leading the team, but it's thinking about mentorship. How does that change? How are you
Yeah,
coaching your teams through this time period?
it's the leadership test of our time,
Yeah.
without a
Oh
doubt.
my gosh, I love that.
It's the heart of it all. And I think over the next decade, the marketing leaders and the business leaders that thrive will be the ones who know how to embrace this challenge. And it's unlike anything that has come before.
So, closing out on this, because you just said like the quote of the day, If you were a CMO and you're inside these organizations, what are two things that you would say they really should be doing for their career right now and for their teams?
The first step is starting with the career. It's actually not about AI training and fluency. That should be table stakes. If someone's not doing that, thinking that spending an extra hour or two a day, they're already at risk. What I would suggest as being most important is to go back to the marketing spec that was used when they were hired. That was probably aligned with the CEO and rewrite it through an AI first lens and take that to the CEO and say, the job you hired me for, if we want to be brutally honest with ourselves, does not and should not exist anymore. It is this other job. And this is what I need to do to both drive growth for the business as well as drive the team forward and drive the operational
Yep.
objectives and do a huge reset based on that premise. I think that's super important. It'll also be a really valuable reflection exercise because that CMO may realize, actually, do I want to do this job?
Yeah.
We build our careers looking up to folks who've come before us and thinking, without realizing it often, that we can do our jobs well when we mimic what they did, adding a little bit of masala here and there to
Yep.
it. CMOs need to scrap their traditional job descriptions, deeply reflect what is required of them, and start again. I say that because a lot of CEOs, without realizing, are pushing marketers away from the table. And it's because so much more is being technologically driven by the core product propositions, and they're needing to drive these transformations and they're seeing the pressures themselves. That's what they should do for themselves. When it comes to the teams, I think the same applies. If I were enrolled as a CMO, I would take 2 days and say, let's all rewrite our job descriptions. Let's wipe the slate clean. Based on the AI transformations coming our way, how would we rethink our roles? Where should we as human beings play? Where is it better to have the AI play a role? And how should we work together? It starts with a marketing leader or a business leader thinking about themselves in this new time, because the
Hmm.
quicker they move to that, the better it'll serve them for the long run, and then doing the same with their teams as well.
You mentioned the 13% of young people who are graduating and are jobless. They've been out of work for 24 months at this point. It's a real struggle for recent college grads. Do you have some advice for them? Because they don't know how to rewrite their job descriptions. There's not the opportunities right now.
Yes, it's a very difficult time in that regard, and unfortunately, at least what the data shows, it's only going to get worse when it comes to employment. But there's another flip side to it, which is that if you're entrepreneurial, if you're
Yeah.
creative, if you're hungry, if you have a chip on your shoulder, sort of the way I did when I
Yeah.
was younger, the world is still at your fingertips. You can do so much more than ever before. And you don't have to worry about spending hours in mind numbingly boring meetings and town halls. You can start a business. You can act and behave and have the swag of someone with five identities because
Yeah.
you're able to do the roles of five people at once. You can code, you can design, you can write, you can, in a matter of minutes, develop a
Yeah.
financial plan for a business. It's incredibly empowering if you look at the world through that lens.
We all
Business.
have the opportunity to create our own lives. We can create our careers. Playing field may have changed a little bit, but it's ours to own.
You see it across industries already happening. That Substack author has as much power as a Washington Post.
Yeah. I'm going to proudly say my client, Barry Weiss, just did very well as a
There you
Substack
go.
writer.
That's a great
She's done an
example.
excellent job.
That's just an example of, it's the age of entrepreneurship. And what it means is we have to think about our roles, our place in the world, our identities differently. Like when I was young, I felt I had to go into a big corporation eventually because I grew up in the world of big brands. My dad was a big banker and my mom was a magazine publisher, and I knew that world. But it's the world to be an it's the time to be an individual entrepreneur now.
I think being an individual entrepreneur inside a big company for those that are in our careers is really important too.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Like, raise your hand, ask for more responsibilities, show how half your job should go away, and hire that stupid AI tool to do it. It doesn't matter. You
Yeah.
know, free up space in your head to do something new.
Thank you so much for letting us into your backyard and just having the conversation and being so open about the reality of careers in AI and the things you did right and wrong in your career. Because I think it's a big deal. I think we're in a world where too many people posture and try to show their own personal brand and how awesome they are. I think it's a scary time for people. So I appreciate you sharing your knowledge, your wisdom, and journey along the way.
Thank you for having me. I must say, I could spend an hour sharing all the mistakes I made. There's so much more to talk about, but
I
this was
know.
so much fun to
I know.
do.
I
Thank
knew it was
you.